Okay, gang, it's time for another challenging conversion. A garden slug travels 100 meters in 2 days. How fast is this in miles per hour? Okay, so that's not real fast. Garden slugs don't travel real fast, but let's give him a little slack. After all, he's a slug. So I'm going to set up my starting point here, and that is 100 meters in 2 days is the speed of the slug, and I want to find out how many miles per hour that is. Now, notice the way that I wrote that. I used the abbreviation M from meters and MI from miles. I highly recommend you do that, otherwise you're going to confuse the two. Okay, so this is a little more challenging because I have a unit of distance and a unit of time that I'm going to be converting. I just like to take care of the unit of distance first, so I get rid of M on the bottom. It's the only thing I'm concerned with this time. And I know the relationship between meters and kilometers. Which one's bigger? A kilometer. And 1 kilometer is the same thing as 1,000 meters. So I notice that my meters cancel out. Kilometers is not what I want, so I have to keep on going. I extend my goalpost out one more level, get rid of kilometers, and I want to go to miles. Now, I'll either give you these relationships or have them looked up, but these are pretty easy relationships that we're going to be working with here. Which one's bigger? A mile. 1 mile is the same thing as 1.6 kilometers. And when I do that, I notice that kilometers cancel. Miles, is that the unit of distance that I want? In fact, it is. So I circle it. And now I can go on to deal with my unit of time. Day is a time. I want to get rid of day. And I know the relationship between days and hours. Which one's bigger? 1 day is the same thing as 24 hours. I do that and I notice that my days cancel out. Now I've got the unit hours. Is that the one I want? In fact, it is. So I circle it. I've got miles on the top, hours on the bottom, and that is the unit setup that I want. Okay, so from here I go ahead and I multiply across the top, and I'm going to write that down in here. Then I'm going to multiply across the bottom, and I'll write it down below that. So 100 times 1 times 1 times 1, that's easy. So I'm left with 100 miles on the top. And then I've got 2 times 1,000 times 1.6 times 24, which equals 7,6,800. And I can't forget the unit, which is hours. I write that on the bottom. 100 miles per 76,800 hours. And that equals 0.0013, and I can round it to that, miles per hour. Well, okay, that's not a whole lot of miles per hour, is it? But remember, this is a garden slug that we're talking about. It's not moving real fast. If you got 0.0013 miles per hour for a race car in a situation, then you might start to scratch your head, but slugs move real slow, and that is an appropriate speed, so that answer should make sense.